Once upon a time, in a place where the sun always shone and laughter filled the air, lived a young man named Keloğlan. This village, where the air was always filled with the scent of flowers and children's voices echoed through the streets, was his home. Keloğlan was kind-hearted, but oh so naive. His heart was as big as the sky, but his mind was like a leaf fluttering in the wind. Though well-intentioned, his thoughts would get tangled like socks in a dryer. Despite his confused mind, the villagers loved him for his innocence and pure intentions. Now, in this same land lived Nasreddin Hodja, known for his wit and wisdom. Hodja was the keeper of many stories, each filled with lessons that made people think and laugh at the same time. Hodja loved to teach through funny stories and clever tricks. His tales were very famous, and people would gather around to hear his next adventure. One sunny morning, Hodja, with his turban sitting proudly on his head, rode his donkey to the marketplace. The marketplace buzzed with the vibrant colors of fruits and fabrics, and the lively chatter of merchants and customers. Keloğlan, whistling a cheerful tune, was making his way down the dusty road towards the same bustling marketplace. His innocent mind, full of joy and curiosity, was excited to see what the day would bring. Little did they know their paths were about to cross in a most peculiar way. This encounter would spark a chain of events neither Keloğlan nor Hodja could have imagined, blending wisdom and innocence in a delightful dance of destiny. The marketplace was bustling. Merchants were selling their goods, children were chasing each other, and the aroma of spices filled the air. Hodja tied his donkey to a sturdy olive tree and went about his business. When he returned, his donkey was gone. "My donkey, my precious donkey, where have you gone?" cried Hodja, his voice echoing through the marketplace. Hearing the commotion, Keloğlan came running. "What happened, Hodja?" he asked, his eyes wide with concern. "Someone has stolen my donkey!" exclaimed Hodja, his face etched with worry. Eager to help, Keloğlan puffed out his chest. "Don't worry, Hodja, I'll find your donkey." He closed his eyes, scrunched up his face, and thought long and hard. Suddenly, his eyes flew open. "I have a plan," he declared. Keloğlan climbed onto a wobbly crate and shouted, "Hear ye, hear ya! I, Keloğlan, can speak the language of animals. And I heard the thief's donkey confess. Your master is hiding in the old windmill." Word of Keloğlan's claim reached the Sultan. The whole city buzzed with this astonishing news. Whispers and murmurs filled the air as people speculated about the young man's extraordinary ability. Could it be true? Could Keloğlan truly understand the language of animals? The Sultan was a just but stern ruler. He was known throughout the land for his wisdom and unwavering sense of justice. He had encountered many unusual claims before, but this one intrigued him deeply. He decided to investigate the matter personally. He summoned Keloğlan, Hodja, and the curious crowd to his magnificent palace. The palace gates swung open, and people from all walks of life streamed in, eager to witness the Sultan's judgment. The atmosphere crackled with anticipation. "Is it true that you can speak the language of animals?" boomed the Sultan, his voice echoing from the high ceiling. A hush fell over the grand hall as everyone awaited Keloğlan's response. The Sultan's piercing gaze fixed on the young man. Keloğlan swallowed hard, his knees trembling like jelly. He had never been in the presence of such grandeur and authority before. The weight of the moment pressed down heavily on his shoulders. "Well, Your Majesty, he stammered. His voice was barely a whisper, and he could feel the eyes of the entire court upon him. Doubt and fear clouded his mind. Seeing Keloğlan's predicament, Hodja stepped forward. He had always been a mentor and guide to the young man, and he couldn't bear to see him struggle alone. "Your Majesty," he said, bowing low. Keloğlan is a kind soul, but sometimes his imagination runs faster than a herd of gazelles. He has a heart of gold, but his tales can be as fantastical as the stars in the night sky. Please, grant him a chance to prove himself." The Sultan, his curiosity piqued by Hodja's unusual suggestion, raised an eyebrow. He had heard many tales of Hodja's wit and wisdom, but this was something new. "Is that so?" he asked, a hint of amusement in his voice. Hodja smiled confidently, his eyes twinkling with mischief. "Indeed, Your Majesty," he replied, his tone respectful yet playful. "But perhaps there is a simpler explanation," Hodja continued, waving his hands animatedly as he spoke. The Sultan leaned forward, intrigued to hear what Hodja would say next. If we wait until nightfall and release all the donkeys in the city, including my own, Hodja proposed, I believe the stolen donkey will lead us straight to the thief. The Sultan chuckled, clearly amused by the idea. A clever idea, Hodja. Let it be done, he declared, eager to see if Hodja's plan would work. As the sun began to set, the donkeys were released into the streets. The city was bathed in the soft glow of twilight, creating an almost magical atmosphere. And just as Hodja had predicted, the donkeys began to move, their hooves clicking softly against the cobblestone streets. The stolen donkey, missing its companions, began to bray loudly, twitching its ears as it looked around. The sound caught the attention of the townspeople, and they followed the donkey as it led them straight to the thief's hiding place. The Sultan and Hodja exchanged a knowing glance, pleased with the success of their plan. The donkey was returned to Hodja, and Keloğlan, despite his blunder, was hailed as a hero for his accidental role in the donkey's recovery. Keloğlan, said Hodja kindly as they walked home under the starry sky, your heart is in the right place. But sometimes the simplest solution is the best. Keloğlan nodded, a look of understanding dawning on his face. You're right, Hodja. I'll try to remember that. And so, the stories of Keloğlan and Nasreddin Hodja continued to be told and retold throughout the land, reminding us that even the most naive among us can show great kindness, and that wisdom and humor can solve even the trickiest of problems. Passed down through generations, their tales taught valuable lessons about honesty, wit, and the importance of helping others, always with a touch of laughter and a sprinkle of magic. Have a great day, everyone, with laughter and magic. Don't forget to like our story and subscribe to my channel for more. Goodbye, and stay with love.